What's going on, everybody? Align Gonzalez here, and today I want to talk about body image dysmorphia. All right? Some guys think that they're bigger than they really are, they look better than they do, and then the opposite is also true. A lot of guys who are in great shape, jacked, shredded, whatever, they might feel like, oh man, I'm fat, when they're in fact pretty lean. They might feel as if they're small when they're actually quite big. And this is something that's pretty common, particularly in the bodybuilding community. Now, it's not a major issue for some people, right? So, for example, let's talk about me, right? Um, I suffer from it, I think, but I could be wrong, right? Maybe I am as small as I think, but when I go out, maybe hang out with a buddy that I haven't seen in a while, and maybe there's people around that I've never met, and that buddy starts bragging about me to his friends. Oh, this is the fitness guy. If you need to know anything about building muscle, he's your guy. This guy's jacked, whatever. I always get really embarrassed, right? And the reason is because I usually feel like those people who this buddy is bragging to are going to look at me and say, "What are you talking about? This guy doesn't even look like he works out," you know? And I could be wrong. Maybe those people think, "Oh man, yeah, that guy's in great shape. I should probably get some advice from him," you know? But that's just how I feel. Sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I'll think, damn, I've been putting in all these years um, and I still look like this. But then you'll go to the gym and someone will give you a huge compliment about, how shredded you are, how muscular you are, or whatever the case is. And so, for one, it's very subjective, right? It really depends on who you ask. If we ask Phil Heath if he thinks that I'm in good shape, he's probably going to say, this guy doesn't even look like he lifts, right? Now we ask my 14-year-old son, and he's going to tell you that my dad's jacked. Okay? So it's very subjective, but ultimately there is a truth, and a lot of the time we don't really know what it is, right? And that is what body image dysmorphia is. Either you see yourself as bigger and more shredded than you actually are, or what I think is more common, you see yourself as smaller and fatter than you actually are. For girls, a lot of the time, they think they're ugly when they're in fact very good looking. For guys, it's usually that they feel small when they're actually big. And this is a psychological issue, right? Now, just because it's a psychological issue doesn't mean it's a very serious one. So, for me, for example, I'm very self aware. I'm very aware that when I go out in public or to a beach or to a pool, I'm typically going to be in different shape than most people. Okay? And just because I feel like I don't even lift doesn't mean that most people will feel that way, right? And I'm very aware of that. Okay? So it doesn't negatively impact my life. I'm fine taking off my shirt. In fact, I'm typically shirtless. The only problem is that I get very, again, embarrassed when someone else tries to brag about me. Now, that's my own personal battle. Those are my own personal demons. But it's not something I lose sleep over, right? I don't lose sleep over it. I don't stress out over it. But for some people, this can become very destructive, right? It could cause social anxiety. They might not want to hang out with their friends. They'll feel shame. They might even be in good shape and be guys who still are like embarrassed to take their shirt off because they see themselves and they see the same skinny guy who they were when they started training. While the majority of the world will see them and say, "Oh man, this guy's in pretty good shape." The way we perceive ourselves is very different than the way everyone else perceives us. And on that point, you have to understand that different people perceive you differently. So, like, one person, your wife, for example, might see you one way, and then the girl at the front desk at the gym might see you another way. Okay? Then your kids might see you a different way. And we're talking about physically, right? And so, again, whether you're muscular, jacked, shredded, whatever, is subjective to a degree. And typically we're a lot harder on ourselves than we should be. But the point is this: everyone suffers from body image dysmorphia, at least to a very small degree, right? When it becomes more severe, though, that's when it becomes a problem. There are people who become obsessive. Again, they develop social anxiety. They don't want to be around people. When they are around people, their brain is racing, thinking, oh man, these people, what are they thinking about me? Are they laughing in their head because I'm small? Do I look fat in this shirt? Or whatever the case. And if that's you, if that's something that you suffer from, just understand that it's a real psychological issue and that you should probably get some help. Now, most of the people watching this are like me, right? We see ourselves, we think we're smaller than we actually are, and that's maybe, right? Maybe I am smaller, right? Maybe I am small. Maybe I'm right. But the point is this: we all see ourselves a certain way, and usually we are very critical of ourselves. We usually see ourselves in a negative light. Not to say we think we're ugly or we become depressed or things of that nature, right? We're talking about the majority of people have this small degree of body image dysmorphia, and not just your body image, but just like the way you look in general. But for those rare cases of people who are suffering anxiety, depression, or things of that nature because of the way you look, whether it be just your face or your body or whatever, I would highly encourage you to, one, just accept that this is actually happening and admit it to yourself, right? And then go get some help, right? Because it's a real issue and there's no reason why you should live your life depressed or suffering from anxiety over something that can be fixed, right? And again, this is not a video telling you how to fix it, right? Because I'm certainly not an expert in psychology, but I will tell you that once you can admit to yourself that it's something that you are suffering from and you can get help, and then you actually take action and do get help, your quality of life will increase. So this is not to say that maybe you are fucking super jacked and you just don't see it, but it's more so not giving a fuck and not really worrying too much about whether you're the biggest guy in the room or not, and just accepting you for you and accepting that everyone is going to see you however they decide to see you, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. Just a quick rant. I really don't even know if I'm going to post this video, so if you see it, I guess that means that I decided to, and that's it. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm everywhere at Muscle Monsters, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Make sure to add me, and I'll talk to you guys soon.